looking forward to that.
Yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girvaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Ramnath Prabhuji. Please accept our humble obeisances.
Haribol.
Haribol Prabhuji. So happy to see you. We missed your association, Prabhuji.
Good to be here again.
Yes, Prabhuji, we missed your association last week. Sometimes I think when we have this...
I missed your association. What was last week's topic on?
Yeah, it's about Akrura and like, and also about like, how Akrura has been sent by Kamsa to go and give this invite Krishna and Balaram and bring them both to Mathura, so that he can arrange for making, to kill both of them. So that's where it is. And this week is going to be really nice because the journey starts for Krishna and Balaram to go to Mathura. And also, it's going to be like a very divine Leela. One, we're going to just discuss about how the gopis are again feeling the lamentation of going to miss Krishna because Krishna is getting prepared to go to Mathura. And the other one is going to be all about Akrura having this special darshan of Mahavishnu in Yamuna River. So that's going to be another divine pastime. So both of these we're going to be covered as part of this chapter. So I'm really looking forward to that, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, anything that you want
very good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Anything to mention, Prabhuji, before we go ahead with the prayers and start off with the Krishna book? Can we, with your permission, Prabhuji, shall I go ahead with the prayers and the Krishna book? Prabhuji, can you hear us? Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my earbuds to work, but I can hear you.
Yeah, Prabhuji. I was just asking for your permission to just go ahead and with the prayers and then to start with the Krishna book.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. No, go right ahead.
Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Bandhu Jagatpate Gopi
Can you hear me?
Radha Kanta Namostute. Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you. We can hear you, Prabhuji.
You can hear me. Okay.
Now we can hear you. Yeah. Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandhu Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna. So we're going to be starting. I'm going to share my screen for another divine chapter that we're going to cover today. So as you can see over here, we're going to just go one step back. We are in, right. So Akrura arrives in Vrindavan, and we see like when Akrura, he arrives in Vrindavan and how he's being received by Krishna and Balaram, and how nicely they treat him. They give him a place where he can just take rest for the day. And then they're inquiring about Kamsa and things like that. So all this is just unfolding, and a continuation of this where Akrura is arriving in Vrindavan and where to invite Krishna and Balaram on the message from Kamsa. So this is where we are just talking about Akrura's return journey and his vision of Vishnu Loka within the Yamuna River. I was just going through that, and I was just so mesmerized and had goosebumps when I was just seeing how Krishna gives the darshan for Akrura in the Yamuna River. We'll be covering that, but there's two different divine pastimes unfolding in this chapter. So really looking forward to sharing this beautiful divine leelas of Krishna with all of you. And as Prabhupada has so beautifully narrated chapter by chapter, we can literally read the sentences rather than just even just telling a storytelling about Krishna and Balaram, because Prabhupada has so beautifully narrated the whole thing that we can literally, by reading, we can bring to our mind, our vision, how beautiful it must have been during that time. And as we always do before starting the Krishna Katha, the very, very beautiful sloka from Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatpataha chakradeham punarjanma naiti ma meti su Arjuna, where Krishna is telling Arjuna that one who even understands listening to this Krishna Katha, even the Krishna's Bhagavan's birth, Krishna's divine leelas in Vrindavan, in Mathura, and in Dwaraka, even by listening to this beautiful Krishna Katha, Krishna Bhagavan says it is so auspicious that the people who leave this material world will not come back, but will directly go to Krishna Loka. So it is as auspicious as that. And it is really fortunate that this month, Krishna Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, of all the Vedic months in the Vedic calendar, he is the Margashira month, which is November and December. So it's very fortunate to be doing Krishna Katha in the association of devotees. So I just wanted to start about just giving the context that where Akrura has been sent by Kamsa, and Akrura was so fascinated. He was so much looking forward to meet Krishna and Balaram. And from I was just looking at Back to Godhead magazine, and I see this beautiful divine pastimes of Akrura. As you can see over here, that's Akrura, and he's touching the ground before he's entering into Vrindavan. So it is very nicely said that this is the kind of a mood that we should have. We should understand from devotees, from great devotees like Akrura, where he felt like he was not at all qualified to see Krishna and Balaram, and how much he felt that he was so much looking forward to that, even though he's been sent by Kamsa with a devised plan to bring Krishna and Balaram to kill them. But Akrura was so much looking forward to this trip to invite Krishna and Balaram to see them actually and get their blessings. And he was feeling so overwhelmed that as soon as he reached Vrindavan, the place where Krishna and Balaram were there, he was just kind of like taking the sand from there and just giving his obeisances, and he was seeing the footprints of Krishna and seeing like how auspicious it is that to even go and have the darshan, something which even the yogis were not able to get. He was so much looking forward, and that's the kind of a mood that one should have when they go to Vrindavan. But I guess this is a journey. Many years back, 6 years back, when I went to Vrindavan, I had no knowledge about the Goswamis, and I had no idea about the divine leelas that happened. All we knew from what we gathered from our grandparents or from our families, like about how Krishna's leelas and childhood pastime. But apart from that, we didn't know anything more specific. But now, going through the Krishna book, it feels so wonderful to be once again going through all these leelas. And I'm sure like all of you would feel that maybe when we go to Vrindavan sometime, we can bring to mind these beautiful leelas of Krishna. So we'll just get started off with this beautiful return journey of Akrura along with Krishna and Balaram. So Akrura was warmly received by Lord Krishna and Nanda Maharaj and offering a resting place for the night. In the meantime, two brothers, Balaram and Krishna, went to take the supper. Akrura sat on his bed and began to reflect that all the desires that he had contemplated while coming from Mathura to Vrindavan have been fulfilled. Lord Krishna is the husband of the goddess of fortune. Being pleased with this pure devotee, he can offer whatever the devotee desires. But the pure devotee does not ask anything from the Lord for his personal benefit. So as you can see over here, they've been very nicely received by Nanda Maharaj, by Krishna and Balaram, and Akrura was very so happy to see them. Many times when we go to Krishna, when we go to God, we ask for so many material desires. God, give me this, give me that, give me a house, give me a nice job and all this. But you can see here that Akrura's desire was completely spiritual. His desires were very spiritual. And the thing is, it's very difficult for us to even stop our desires. But this whole journey of spiritual journeys to how to transition from material desires to spiritual desires. So as we get into bhakti life, as we get into the association of devotees, slowly our desires also keep changing, where instead of having material desires, where now we are desiring like how I wish I could serve Krishna like this, how I wish I could sing for Damodar month, sing for Krishna over there, how nicely we could have done some service for Krishna, how nicely we can go and cook for Krishna. So even our desires, we can't stop our desires, but the desires we can always slowly dovetail them towards Krishna in our spiritual life. And so you can see from here that Akrura, while before he was going to bed, he was just reflecting how fortunate he is that that he came all the way from Mathura to Vrindavan to have the darshan of Krishna, and that desire has been fulfilled. And as Krishna says, like, ye yatamam prapajyante tams tataiva bhajamyaham. According to your level of surrender, I also respond accordingly. So Krishna never disappoints his devotees. He's always reciprocating. But we live in a world of instant. Everything is instant. So we expect even the responses to come instantly. But that's one thing we had to learn from the devotees over here, that in the mood of separation, the love for Krishna is growing more and more, either for the gopis or or in Akrura, as you can see over here. And Krishna being he's pleased always with this pure devotee, and is always looking like how to glorify his devotee as well. So, and as we know, the whole Krishna consciousness is all about not taking from Krishna, but giving everything, our love, everything, our devotion, everything for Krishna, doing everything for Krishna, for pleasing Krishna, not for any material benefit. So that is pure love. That is pure bhakti yoga. But we are, of course, not everybody is in the same level of consciousness. And when we are living in the material world, which is a world of duality, there's always going to be some issues happening, and we can always ask for help from Krishna. But as we move more and more into devotion, the only desire that we have, how can I serve Krishna without any personal benefit? And as you can see, after taking the supper, having the dinner, Krishna and Balaram came to bid goodnight to Akrura and asked him how Kamsa was dealing with the friends and relatives. Krishna then inquired into Kamsa's plans. Bhagavan Sri Krishna then informed Akrura that his presence was very welcome. He inquired from him whether all his relatives and friends were well and free from all kind of ailments. Krishna stated that he was very sorry that his maternal uncle Kamsa was the head of the kingdom. He said that Kamsa was the greatest anomaly in the whole system of government, and that he could not expect any welfare for the citizens while he ruled. Then Krishna said, my father has undergone much tribulation simply for my being his son. For this reason, also he has lost many other sons. I think myself so fortunate that you have come as my friend and relative. My dear uncle Akrura, please tell me the purpose of your coming to Vrindavan. So we can see, like in the Vedic culture in 5,000 years back, how nicely they were being received. Krishna and Balaram, how nicely they are giving him the hospitality. Even today in India, you know, there's so much of a good hospitality that show so much of warmth they show in the hospitality, because that's a culture that's been followed off from generation to generation. And so here we can find that Krishna and Balaram, after they have given their wonderful hospitality, making him well seated, very comfortable for Akrura. Now they're just trying to find out like what's the purpose of Akrura's visit, and they were inquiring more about Kamsa's plans. Of course, Krishna is, you know, he's sitting in each and everyone's heart. He knows everything that is happening. And he tells Arjuna also, I know everything that's happened now, everything that's going to happen in future as well. But still, you know, like this, as part of the Leela, Krishna always try to behave like ordinary, like any one of us. That's why you can see that how nicely he's inquiring from Akrura what brings him, why he has been coming here, and what's the reason, and how is Kamsa. And Krishna is feeling sorry that, you know, because of Kamsa, because of Krishna Bhagavan himself, you know, like Kamsa is putting so much people in difficulty also. And so many, all these 7 sons have been lost also, because, you know, Kamsa was looking for killing the 8th son of Devaki and Vasudeva, and he was feeling sorry that his father had to go through so much of tribulation, Vasudeva. And but he's very happy that Akrura has come to visit them. And so here now he is inquiring from Kamsa to understand actually what's the reason. And after this inquiry, Akrura, who belonged to the dynasty of Yadu, explained the recent events in Mathura, including Kamsa's attempt to kill Vasudeva, the father of Krishna. He related the things which had happened after the disclosure by Narada that Krishna was the son of Vasudeva, hidden by Vasudeva in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Akrura narrated all the stories regarding Kamsa. He told how Narada had met Kamsa and how he himself was deputed by Kamsa to come to Vrindavan. Akrura explained to Krishna that Narada had told Kamsa all about Krishna being transferred from Mathura to Vrindavan just after his birth, and about his killing all the demons sent by Kamsa. Akrura then explained to Krishna the purpose of his coming to Vrindavan, to take him back to Mathura. After hearing of these arrangements, Balaram and Krishna, who are very experts in killing opponents, mildly laughed at the plans of Kamsa. So, you know, like as we have seen in the previous chapters, we have seen how Krishna is so effortlessly, so coolly, he went and, you know, literally even the demons and Putana and Bakasura, and all of them, how coolly he has gone in Vyamasura. So everybody it was nothing for Krishna to deal with the demons. And as we've seen from the previous chapter, Narada goes to Kamsa. Narada doesn't reveal himself, but here, for the purpose of the Leela, Krishna Leela, he kind of appears in front of Kamsa and gives him an idea, gives him the facts that actually Krishna was born in the house of Vasudeva and how he's been transferred to Nanda Maharaj's house, and all these details. And he's been telling to Kamsa, and so Kamsa is even more raged now. He wants to really put an end to all this, and he's ready to even kill Vasudeva. But of course, Narada pacifies him, saying that there is no harm from Vasudeva, but it's actually from Krishna is where the actual harm is. So, but the purpose of Narada doing in all these things is to accelerate, to speed up the Krishna Leela, so that Krishna can enter into the scene. So without difficulty, so that Krishna can be invited, and then Krishna can put an end to Kamsa. So it's a divine plan that is unfolding. And as we can see, and as we've seen earlier, also Narada has informed Krishna about it, and then also, and of course, Narada is informed Krishna, but Krishna knows everything that is happening. And when Krishna comes into the planet, he has his associates who are part of the divine Leela, and they're always supporting Krishna in the divine Leela that's going to be unfolding. So here, as we can see, Krishna is Akrura is explaining to Krishna all that has happened in Mathura. All that has happened in Mathura, basically like how Narada has come out there and informed Kamsa that he is going to be killed by Krishna, and actually Krishna is there right now in Nanda Maharaj's place, and things like that. And he also explained to Krishna the purpose why he had actually come from Mathura all the way. And when Krishna and Balaram come to know that Kamsa is trying to kill, so they're like mildly laughing, because it's like kind of like because for them Kamsa is just nothing to put an end. They immediately informed Nanda Maharaj that Kamsa, when they say when talking about Krishna and Balaram, informed Nanda Maharaj that Kamsa had invited all the cowherd men and boys to go to Mathura to participate in the ceremony known as Dhanur Yajna. Kamsa wanted them all to go to participate in the function. On Krishna's word, Nanda Maharaj at once called for the cowherd men and asked them to collect milk and all kind of milk products to present to the king in the ceremony. He also sent instructions to the police chief of Vrindavan to tell all inhabitants about Kamsa's great Dhanur Yajna function and invite them to join. Nanda Maharaj informed the cowherd men that they would start the next morning. They therefore arranged for the cows and the bulls to carry them all to Mathura. So now that Akrura has told all of Nanda Maharaj and Krishna and Balaram the purpose of why he has come all the way from Mathura to invite all of them for the Dhanur Yajna. So now that he has already told, now they're making all the plans, and the idea is Krishna and Balaram are going to go, and along with them all the other cowherd boys and all the cowherd men, they're all going to be joining this trip to go to Mathura to take part in the Dhanur Yajna function. And when the gopis, you can see so that is one part where Akrura has informed them, and they're all deciding that, okay, the next day morning they had to go and start to go on the journey to Mathura. But now the actual thing starts, the emotional aspect on this chapter, and again, beautiful. When the gopis heard that Akrura had come to take Krishna and Balaram away to Mathura, they became overwhelmed with anxiety. Some of them became so aggrieved that their faces turned black, and they began to breathe warmly and had palpitations of the heart. They discovered that their hair and clothes immediately loosened. Hearing the news that Krishna and Balaram were leaving for Mathura, others who were engaged in household duties stopped working as if they had forgotten everything. Like a person who is forced to die and leave this world at once, others immediately fainted due to separation from Krishna. Remembering his attractive smile and his talks with them, the gopis became overwhelmed with grief. They all remembered the characteristics of the personality of God, the Supreme Bhagavan Sri Krishna, how he moved within the area of Vrindavan, and how with joking words he attracted all their hearts. Thinking of Krishna and of their imminent separation from him, the gopis assembled there together with heavily beating hearts. They were completely absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, with tears falling from their eyes as they spoke as follows. So we can see that here, now that Akrura has come and announced that he is taking Krishna, that he is inviting Krishna and Balaram. Now the gopis, having come to hear about them, they're completely overwhelmed. So now this is going to be like an emotional journey from here, where we can see that gopis are so overwhelmed with grief. They cannot think about being without Krishna. As we can see in the earlier chapters, during the rasa dance and things like that, when Krishna was spending time with them and doing the rasa dance, and then suddenly Krishna disappears. And we have covered completely a whole chapter about how the gopis were feeling the lamentation, how they were feeling the mood of separation, and they were feeling like just a minute also is just like a lifetime for them. So there was so much missing. So, but having again Krishna comes back, because after they were missing so much, and then spends time with them and all these things. So they have gone through that experience of the Rasa Leela. Now we can find that another emotional journey of the gopis that you can see unfolding here is like, once they come to know that now Krishna is again going to Mathura along with the Akrura, they were like totally devastated hearing this news. They were like completely, their hearts have stopped, because they were so much thinking 24/7 only about Krishna. And just remembering about him, his attractive smile and the way he was talking with them, the way he was joking with them. So we can imagine, right, even in the material world, when we like somebody and we miss somebody, like, some of our loved ones, and when we are so close to them, and when somebody whom we are so much in love with, when they leave suddenly, we feel so devastated, isn't it? Even in the material world. So what to think about the love that the gopis had for Krishna? And especially this is a spiritual world, and we can imagine. So the real the emotions towards about the gopis missing Krishna, we can find out here that they were like literally whatever work they were doing, they just had to everything came to a stop, because they couldn't, their minds were not working, they were not able to think what else to do, because all their household duties, because keeping in mind some of the gopis were married, so they had the husbands. Some of the gopis, they were busy doing their household work and things like that. So different gopis doing different things, but having heard about these things, they were totally devastated, because Krishna was attracting their hearts so much, that they were so much in love with Krishna. Even when Krishna was doing the Damodar Leela, every gopi would really look forward that Krishna would come to their house and steal the butter. So that was how much they were always constantly thinking about Krishna. And the separation for them is something which is unbearable for them. So we can see that now they're absorbed in the thoughts, and the tears were falling from the eyes, and now they're speaking about this. "Oh, Providence, you're so cruel. It appears that you do not know how to show mercy to others. By your arrangement, friends contact one another, but before they can fulfill their desires, you separate them. This is exactly like a child's game that has no meaning. It is very abominable that you arrange to show us beautiful Krishna, whose bluish curling hair beautifies his broad forehead and sharp nose, and who's always smiling to minimize all the grief in this material world, and then arrange to separate him from us. Oh, Providence, you're so cruel. But most astonishingly, you appear now as Akrura, which means not cruel. In the beginning, we appreciated your workmanship in giving us these eyes to see the beautiful face of Krishna. But now, just like a foolish creature, you're taking away our eyes by not letting us see Krishna here anymore. Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is also very cruel. He must always have new friends. He does not like to keep our friendship for a long time with anyone. We gopis in Vrindavan have left our homes, friends, relatives, and have become Krishna's maidservants. But he is neglecting us and going away. But he does not even look upon us. Although we are completely surrendered onto him, now all the young girls in Mathura will have the opportunity. They are expecting Krishna's arrival, and they will enjoy his sweet smiling face and will drink its honey. Although we know that Krishna is very steady and determined, we are afraid that as soon as he sees the beautiful faces of the young girls in Mathura, he will forget himself. We fear he will become controlled by them, and will forget us. For we are very simple village girls. He will no longer be kind to us. We therefore do not expect Krishna to return to Vrindavan. He will not leave the company of the girls in Mathura." So this beautiful chapter, quote unquote, from the dancers, from the gopis of Vrindavan, we can see like how much their lamentation, because like even all of us, like in the material world also, we can see like when we're missing somebody, and we kind of like say all kind of things, right? We say like, why is this, why it's my bad karma, why am I missing so much, oh my God, I like this person so much, but why is my fate like this? Why is my karma like this? And things like that. We keep blaming so many things. We keep blaming people around. We keep blaming anyone, because when we don't get somebody whom we want, really love so much in our lives. So here we can see that, the gopis' lamentation, they're saying like, oh, Providence, and like they were saying on one side, they feel like, so many things that we can bring to light in our mind about Krishna is like, one is the gopis' narration about Krishna shows like how beautiful he was looking, basically, with bluish curling hair, beautifying his broad forehead, sharp nose. I mean, these are the things which bring beauty to anyone, isn't it? Having sharp nose and beautiful eyes and curly hair. And so we can imagine like how beautiful Krishna must be looking at that time. But at the same time, they're also saying like, in the beginning, we felt so happy that we have these eyes which are meant to see the beautiful face of Krishna. But again, on the other hand, they're feeling like, the same providence, which is once again, taking Krishna away from them. So they're feeling the emotions are literally hitting the roof. They're like just going so high in terms of how much of emotions that they have towards Krishna. And in this mood of separation, in this mood of emotions, they're also even blaming Krishna that, that as soon as he's going to go, because he likes new friends, so he's ready to leave us and go. Because what happens is when we like somebody in that emotional mood of separation, and when you feel hurt, you say so many things even to the person whom you like also. So we can see here that the gopis are even speaking about Krishna also, like, see how he is just going and leaving because he likes new friends and things like that. And because of because they being gopis, and because being girls, like, they're also thinking in the mind, oh, Krishna, once he goes to Mathura, they're going to be beautiful girls, and he's going to be carried away by the girls. Even though Krishna is very determined, but still he's going to be carried away by the beautiful girls, and he's not going to look at us anymore. He's not going to think about us anymore. And because they're going to be controlled by them. So all kind of imagination and thoughts are coming onto the gopis, thinking about like that, because Krishna is is going to be leaving them shortly. So beautiful things. One, we get to know through the gopis how beautiful Krishna must be looking, and we can also see like how they're feeling their separation, that they're also even complaining about Krishna also, that he's just neglecting and going us away on, because like for them all they want to see is see Krishna and be happy about it, and then they always do things for pleasing Krishna. So it's always a love which they wanted to always give towards Krishna. And now we feel like that they're feeling the lamentation that they're going to be missing Krishna so much. The gopis began to imagine the great functions of the city of Mathura. So now we can see, like, when imagination goes wild, you start thinking so many things. So in their mind, they're also thinking like, okay, when Krishna goes to Mathura, there must be some great functions going on in Krishna. They're imagining that Krishna will be going through the streets of Mathura, and all the young girls in city, they will be coming, looking at Krishna from the balcony, and how, all the different communities like Dasarha, Boja, Andaka, and Satvada, there was, I think maybe the different communities at that point of time in Mathura, and how all of them, they'll be they're all expecting the arrival of Krishna, because obviously if the king Kamsa has sent Akrura to bring Krishna, obviously it must have been known all over the place in Mathura. So they must be all expecting the arrival of Krishna. And and Krishna being the resting place of the goddess of fortune and the reservoir of all pleasure was going to visit the city, Mathura city. So in Gopi's mind, they're already not only thinking about just Krishna leaving them, they're just going the next step of thinking like how Krishna must be, how the people in Mathura must be enjoying seeing Krishna from the balconies and things like that. The gopis then began to condemn the activities of Akrura. Now they turned their attention towards Akrura. They stated that he was taking Krishna, who was more dear than the dearest to them, and who was the pleasure of their eyes. He was being taken from their sight without their being informed or solaced by Akrura. Akrura should not have been so merciless, but should have taken compassion on them. So now, this is what happens, isn't it? When you are in love with somebody, you're trying to find faults with anybody who's coming on the way of your love for that person. So now the gopis have just trained the guns on Akrura, saying that how could he just come and take off Krishna, who gives so much of joy and pleasure to all of them. and taking them away from the sight. The gopis went on to say, the most astonishing feature is that Gopi, the Krishna, the son of Nanda, without consideration, has already seated himself in the chariot. So we can see from here that the gopis are saying that Krishna is already gone and sat in the chariot. From this, it appears that Krishna is not very intelligent. Yet he may be very intelligent, but he is not very merciful. So you can see, like, in the emotions that are flying. So once they feel like, okay, Krishna is not intelligent, okay, yeah, maybe he's intelligent, but he's not merciful, because he's just ready to just even leave them just like that. Not only Krishna, but all the cowherd men are also so callous that they're already yoking the bulls and calves for the journey up to Mathura. The elderly persons in Vrindavan are so merciless, they do not take our plight into consideration and stop Krishna's journey to Mathura. Even the demigods are very unkind to us. They're also not impeding his going to Mathura. So you can see that the gopis are like so much in lamentation that they're finding blame on everyone whom they think is instrumental for Krishna leaving to Mathura. So we can see that they're blaming the demigods, they're blaming the elderly persons for not stopping them, they're blaming these cowherd men who are going with them, they're blaming the Akrura for coming and taking away Krishna, they're blaming Krishna himself for being ready to go away, and because he's always looking for new friends. So the gopis pray to the demigods to create some natural disturbance. So this is what happens, isn't it? When you are so much in love, you have all kind of thoughts coming up, to the extent that they even praying to the demigods. They're asking the demigods like Varuna and Indra to create some storm or a heavy rainfall so that Krishna could not go to Mathura. They then began to consider, despite our parents and guardians, we shall personally stop Krishna from going to Mathura. We have no alternative but to take this direct action. Everyone has gone against us to take away Krishna from our sight. Without him, we cannot live for a moment. The gopis thus decided to obstruct the passage through which the chariot of Krishna was supposed to pass. They began to talk among themselves. We have passed a very long night, which seemed only a moment, engaged in the rasa dance with Krishna. We looked at his sweet smile and embraced him and talked with him. Now how shall we live even for a moment if he goes away from us? At the end of the day, in the evening, along with his elder brother Balaram, Krishna would return home with his friends. His face would be smeared with the dust raised by the hooves of the cow, and he would smile and play on his flute and look upon us so kindly. How shall we be able to forget him? How shall we be able to forget Krishna, who is our life and soul? He has already taken away our hearts in so many ways throughout our days and nights. And if he goes away, there is no possibility of us continuing to live. Thinking like this, the gopis became dear and become more and more grief-stricken at Krishna leaving Vrindavan. They could not shake their minds. They began to cry loudly, calling the different names of Krishna. Oh, dear Damodara, dear Madhava. So we can see, like, from this particular paragraph, we can just bring to light in this paragraph how much the gopis are feeling the lamentation. They're ready to even ask the demigods also, just create some disturbance, create some storm, create some rain. You know, when we are small children, when we didn't want to go to school, we would think of all kind of excuses not to go to school. You know, we would think like, oh, I wish there was some heavy rainfall that has come. I wish there was something else that's going on, and all kind of excuses. So similarly, you can find that the gopis are saying like how best to stop Krishna from going to Mathura. And they're thinking even if the demigods can kind of like create some kind of disturbances which will stop Krishna from going there. And they're ready to even obstruct the passage of Krishna's chariot, you know, because Krishna and Balaram get onto the chariot to go there. And then they don't want to allow that to happen. And they were just so, having gone through the rasa dance in the previous chapters that we covered. So one of the things that they were just talking to each other, the gopis are just talking to each other, saying like, you know, we are engaged in the rasa dance with Krishna. And they were just thinking about the days when Krishna was playing with them in the rasa dance and how nicely they were just happily, you know, in this company, and they were exchanging a nice smiles with them, and how Krishna was dancing with them and his sweet smile. And I think Krishna's smile is so enchanting that you can see that gopis in many places, they're always thinking about Krishna's smile and how beautiful Krishna used to look. And from this paragraph also, the gopis are also, we are indebted to the gopis, because the gopis are giving us the complete knowledge and giving us a vision of how we can visualize how beautiful Krishna must be looking, how Krishna is, the beautiful features of Krishna. And not only that, we can know through the gopis, you can see that how Krishna and Balaram would daily come, go to the, for the taking the cows into the forest, and then again come back, return home with their friends. And by the time they come back, they would have the dust all over their faces because of the hoofs of the cows, and how Krishna would smile and play his flute. So this seems to be like, this is like a day-to-day routine activity that was going on, and the gopis were so much happily enjoying all this all the while. And now again, a time has come for them again, that this lamentation that's going on in the mind, because they're feeling like, because they were just remembering themselves of all the beautiful times that they had with Krishna, the Rasa Leela that they had with Krishna, the beautiful times that they had with Krishna, how smilingly Krishna was talking. And it always happens to us, isn't it? We see so many movie stars and all that. They just throw one smile and people get mesmerized, and they get. So if you're just talking about ordinary material movie stars and things like that, can you imagine the Supreme Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the Lord of the universes, so many universes, and the origin of everything spiritual and material? How beautiful Krishna must be looking, and how his enchanting, his smile must have been, that the gopis are just mesmerized and they're not able to even forget him at all. And because Krishna was their heartbeat. For every minute, day and night, they were always thinking about Krishna. So they were thinking, how can we all even think about living without Krishna in Vrindavan? They couldn't shake their minds, and they began to cry. They started even crying, "Oh Damodara," and Madhava. So the gopis cried all night before the departure of Krishna. And as soon as the sun rose, Akrura finished his morning bath, got onto the chariot, and started for Mathura with Krishna and Balaram. Now, this is the point I just wanted to mention about. So till here, we are just talking about the lamentation of gopis towards Krishna. And this is the highest rasa, and this is the most beautiful divine bhakti yoga. This is the most essence of bhakti yoga, where we can learn from the gopis how much they're always thinking about Krishna and loving Krishna in the mood of separation. And before we started today, I was just singing this Hare Krishna tune, and if you would have observed, even that Hare Krishna tune is actually my harmonium teacher. He taught us this Hare Krishna tune, saying that this Hare Krishna tune is like the tune of the gopis singing for Krishna in the mode of separation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's again, the beauty things about Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, we have so many unlimited tunes of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and I feel every time we sing in the in manner on Sundays and Saturdays, and then we get so surprised when again some new devotees come to manner and they sing again another new set of tunes, and we feel like, oh my God, there's another set of tunes, and then we learn about some other. But it's just mesmerizing. And this tune which I sang, actually my Guruji said, my harmonium teacher said, this Hare Krishna tune is in the mode of separation. This is like the gopis singing Hare Krishna for Krishna, which I felt like, that's the reason why I sang this one today, because we were talking about the gopis. And I just wanted to just do about 3 or 4 of this thing from Gopi Geet, with your permission, if that is okay. Prabhuji, if that's okay, a bit of Gopi Geet for us, so that, because this is the highest form of rasa that we can think about. Ramnath Prabhuji, Ratan Prabhuji, hope that is fine.
Yes, it's okay. Go ahead.
So, Gopi Geet, Gopi Ucha. Gopya Ucha. जयति तेऽधिकं जन्मना व्रजा श्रयत इन्दिरा शाश्वतत्र हि दयत दृश्यतां दीक्षु तावका त्वयि धृता सवा त्वं विचिन्वते सरदुषाशये साधु जात सरसि जोदुरा श्रीमुषादृशा सुरतनाथ ते शुल्कदाशिका वरदनिघ्नतो नेह किं वदा विसजलापया व्यालराक्षसा वर्षमारुता वैद्युतानला वृषयमायत्मा विश्वतभया ऋषभते वयं रक्षिता मुहुः न खलु गोपिका नन्दनो भवान् अखिल देहिनाम् अन्तरात्मद्रे विकनशार्थितो विश्वगुप्तये सक उदीयवान् सात्वतां कुले. This is a few verses from the from the beautiful Gopi Ashtakam, and this song of which is actually, again, this song is also from Bhagavatam, from the 10th canto, chapter number 31. And again, this is also by Sachivrata Muni, the same Muni who sang Damodara Ashtakam. So we can see this Gopi Ashtakam is so beautiful, such a beautiful song that Sachivrata Muni is mentioning about, and it's said it's extremely auspicious, and this particular song is so dear to Krishna. So that's the reason why, now that we are speaking about the gopis, I thought we should share this song where the gopis are saying, the gopis are saying, "Oh beloved Krishna, your birth in the land of Raja has made it extremely glorious, and thus Indra, the goddess of fortune, always resides here. And here it is only for your sake that we, your devoted servants, maintain our lives. We have been searching everywhere for you. So please show yourself to us, O Lord of love. In beauty, your glance excels the whole of the finest, most perfectly formed lotus within the autumn pound. O bestower of benedictions, you are killing the maidservants who are giving themselves to you freely without any price. Isn't this murder? O greatest of personalities, you have repeatedly saved us from all kind of danger, from poisonous water, from the terrible man-eater Aga, from the great rains, from the wind demon, from the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, and from the bull demon, and from the son of Maya Danava." So here, in this way, gopis are kind of like singing this beautiful this Ashtakam where their gopis are just kind of like singing about the mood of lamentation. This Gopi Geet is so beautiful. So that through this Gopi Geet itself, we can understand how much the gopis are in love with Krishna and how much they are missing Krishna. So I just wanted to just share that before we go ahead. So till here, we know about how the gopis have been blaming everyone, blaming Krishna because he's leaving them, blaming Akrura, blaming everyone around, and also thinking like how beautiful, how lucky that the people of Mathura is, the girls and everybody, they're going to come to the balcony and ready to see Krishna. So while the gopis are crying all over the night before the departure of Krishna, because Akrura had come to Nanda Bhavan, and the hospitality of Nanda Bhavan that Nanda Maharaj has provided, he's taking rest for that night. And Krishna is Balaram nicely inquiring from him the purpose of the visit, and where Akrura is telling Krishna that he has come on behalf of, as he's been sent by Kamsa, and he has come to take Krishna and Balaram with him and all that. So the next day morning, so Akrura has had a good sleep in Nanda Bhavan, in that place. And as soon as the sun rose, Akrura finished his morning bath, got on the chariot and started for Mathura with Krishna and Balaram. Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men got up on the bullock carts after loading them with big earthen pots filled with yogurt, milk, ghee, and other milk products. And then they began to follow the chariot of Krishna and Balaram. So we can see from this that they were basically, Krishna and Balaram, they were just going in the chariot, and behind them, you can find that all the other cowherd men and everybody, and they were completely loaded with all these things that they were taking to Mathura. and they were following Krishna. So in spite of Krishna asking the gopis not to obstruct the way, because Krishna could understand that the gopis are going to definitely miss and how much they're not willing to let go Krishna. But still, in spite of Krishna asking the gopis to not to obstruct the way, they all surrounded the chariot and stood up to see Krishna with pitiable eyes, because they wanted to just show how much they're going to miss and how much they're really missing, and they don't want him to go at any cost. So Krishna was very much affected upon seeing the plight of the gopis, but his duty was to start for Mathura, because Krishna has come with a plan. The very purpose Krishna has descended on the planet is to put an end to all these demonic kings. Paritranaya sadhuna vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samstapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Krishna has come with a purpose, so he has to get on and do what he has come for. So his duty was to start for Mathura. This was being foretold even by Narada. And because even Narada also is mentioned to Krishna that this is what Kamsa is trying to do, and this is what it is. And of course, Narada knew that Krishna is the supreme Bhagavan. Krishna then consoled the gopis. He told them that they should not be grieved, that he's going to come back very soon. So he's trying to pacify the gopis. Krishna is pacifying the gopis that he's going to come back very soon once he completes his business. And he knows, Krishna knows what the business is going. They're going to go to Mathura to put an end to Kamsa. But they could not be persuaded. The gopis were not, they couldn't be persuaded by Krishna to, no matter how much Krishna was trying to tell them not to be aggrieved, but still they were not able to move from there. The chariot, however, began to head west, and as it proceeded, the minds of the gopis followed it as far as possible. They watched the flag on the chariot as long as it was visible. Finally, they could only see the dust of the chariot in the distance. The gopis did not move from the places, but stood until the chariot could not be seen at all. They remained standing still as if they were painted pictures. All the gopis decided that Krishna was not returning immediately, and with greatly disappointed hearts, they returned to their respective homes. Being greatly disturbed by the absence of Krishna, they simply thought all day, night about his pastimes, and that derived some consolation. So we can see from this that the Krishna was trying to actually pacify them, not to obstruct the way, and to let Krishna go, because and he's also telling that he's going to come back very soon. There's no reason for them to lament, but they're not ready to listen to Krishna also, because they feel that Krishna is not going to come back and he's going to Mathura, and even it happens to us also, right? I mean, when we don't want to leave our loved ones and they are going, we are no more to listen, no matter how much the people are saying, that we'll come back also. They're not ready to even listen. So they're like totally not convinced by Krishna, because even though Krishna is saying like, he's going to get his going on a business, he'll finish and come back, but they're not ready to listen at all. And you can see that, right? Even when we go to the airport, when somebody who's so loving for us, when they are leaving, we'll just stand at the security to see how far they have gone. Till the last minute, till the last stage where we can no more see them, we'll be looking to see how the final glimpse of them. So we can see that here in the spiritual world also, and spiritual world is whatever we experience in the material world is a perverted reflection of what happens in the spiritual world, whatever we're experiencing. So we can see that this Vrindavan is actually what actually happens in Golok Vrindavan, where we can see that the gopis are just standing over there. They're just not ready to move at all. They become like statues waiting for Krishna and Balaram's. They were seated on a chariot, and now Krishna and Balaram, they're going to Mathura along with Akrura. But till the last glance that they have to see Krishna and Balaram, until they are out of sight, they were just standing over there. And after once they could no more see Krishna and Balaram, they were like totally returning back, and they knew that they were so disappointed, and they were just, so from that point of time, they're so disturbed by the absence of Krishna. The day and night, they were only thinking about this divine pastime that they have, because they have experienced the taste of being with Krishna. They experienced that beautiful love of being with Krishna. As Krishna Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, Vesaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopasya param dristvana nivartate. When you have this experience, when you have the higher taste, like we had this higher taste book. So when we have the higher taste of Krishna Prema, that is when we start losing all our attachment or our likings for all the material things, because we have experienced a higher taste. So the gopis had this highest, have relished already during the times of Rasa Leela with Krishna, and spending time with Krishna, his beautiful style, beautiful smile, enchanting smile, always being with them, playing the flute for them. and seeing Krishna when he was coming back from the cow, herding the cowboys. And so they have all these beautiful memories. So they were not able to just even imagine that they had to live without Krishna even for a day or a minute also. So they were just trying to blame everyone in the creation to see, like, how cruel they are, that they're putting the gopis in that kind of a situation. There is another beautiful Leela that's unfolding, which I just wanted to stop over here and ask Prabhuji and everyone if there's anything, realizations, anything that anyone wants to share. And also being that 9 o'clock, I just want to be respectful for everybody's time. Hare Krishna. Any comments?
Hare Krishna. Very nice reading. The only thing I can add is there's a kind of a similar phenomenon. I mean, I don't think I personally experienced it during the Prabhupada era, but you can read about it in some of the memoirs of how the devotees would just be in total anxiety at the airport when Prabhupada was leaving for another place. And they would just watch Prabhupada would board the plane, then they will watch the plane take off and just watch the plane go into the distance. And it's just like, everything, their heart and soul was with Prabhupada. So it's a kind of a similar attachment in that sense. I never had that kind of experience at the airport, but certainly some devotees did.
Yes, that's a beautiful one pastime of Prabhupada, Prabhuji, which you have shared with us. And I think, I did read about that, and I've seen some pictures also, how much they've been accompanying with Prabhupada. And that's a beautiful, pastimes actually, Prabhuji, which we can bring to light as to how much the love they had for Prabhupada, and they were not ready to leave. And a lot of people were even in tears, and as Prabhupada was leaving, actually, the mood of separation. And Prabhupada would say, like, he's always, in the spiritual world, we're always thinking about each other, and there, and through the books also, they will always stay connected with Krishna, with Prabhupada. But that mood of lamentation was there for Prabhupada, the disciple, also at the time when Prabhupada was leaving back to India. Thank you, Prabhuji. That's a very wonderful one.
Yeah, it's all about attachment on a very personal level. When
Yes.
you really feel that kind of attachment for another person, then it becomes so difficult to part ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, actually, because we've seen so much of life, so many decades, we can just bring to light and see, like, because what we are discussing here is all about bhakti life. We are talking about spiritual world. So we can relate to is that whatever we have experienced so far is just actually a reflection of actually what originally happens in the spiritual world. So definitely, and there's so much to learn and from how much of love they had towards Krishna. And the gopis are helping us to even imagine and visualize how beautiful Krishna was. Gauri Mataji, Hare Krishna, Ratan Prabhu.
What is that? What is that Shakespearean line where departing is such sweet sorrow? What is it? That's not it. It's
Shakespeare's one on separation, Prabhuji, or
something like that. It's like a mood of separation where the lover is going away. It's sweet and it's sorrowful at the same time. So these are some of the moods of Krishna consciousness. And if we're actually falling into these moods, then it's kind of like, yes, we come to the temple, we have darshan of Krishna, Radha and Krishna, but then we should also feel a kind of a lamentation when we leave the temple. Now I have to go. We leave Krishna behind.
Yes, that's a mood. That's a mood that we should be having, Prabhuji.
It's sorrowful, but it's also very sweet.
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely. Prabhuji, but on that note, I feel like, when we can feel that separation when we have that personal, when we develop that personal relationship, when we, like as you say, like, when we go and having the darshan of deities, we actually look at the deities starting from the feet and up to the face. And then basically we should engage in glorifying the deities and saying, Krishna, you're looking so beautiful today. Radharani, you're looking so beautiful, so merciful today. And just glorifying and having that conversation. I think it is so important to be in that kind of a mood of where we're speaking to the deities and just having those beautiful things, like, and having in the so much of a mood of how much of affection and love and things like that, and just not looking at the deities as just deities. And like, again, it all depends on how much, again, when we go through the Krishna Katha and all this, and then let's say if we go to Manna, we can bring to our mind how the gopis are missing. Oh my God, Krishna is here, and how beautiful Krishna is looking like. So I think it's so important for us, like, to learning from the gopis, that the emotions are important, that we, as we are engaging ourselves in bhakti life, that we develop these emotions also towards Krishna, and having that personal, things that we can speak to Krishna actually. And all this Krishna Leelas also, show us that how Krishna is also reciprocating. Don't worry, I'm there for you. Don't worry, I'm just going to come back, and things like that. And that's a personal mood of reciprocation that can be available only in the level of that Bhagavan stage, because you have Brahma stage, Paramatma stage, and the Bhagavan stage. And then the Bhagavan stage is where you can find this beautiful relationship with what the gopis had with Krishna. I would like to just open for any other points, any comments, anything else want to add? Anyone wants to add more into this? Nagaraj Prabhu, Amoga Prabhu, yes, Prabhuji, Amoga. Hare Krishna.
This mode of separation is beautifully explained, and you rightly put, Prabhu. One of the real-time scenario of somebody, we are sending somebody to a far-off country, very loved ones, right? You want to have the last glimpse, right? So it's really,
yes.
We can't explain that. No, it's really very nice.
Yeah, I think, because I always experience that when I see somebody in the airport, and I just wait till I see have the last glance. Obviously, when we go to the airport, like, sometimes there could be just an obligation to drop somebody, but otherwise, usually when we drop our close friends or anyone who we've been spent a long time, we always have that the experience, isn't it? So what to speak? So that gives us a knowledge that if you're just talking about just ordinary friends, and if you're feeling so much, what would you have felt actually if Krishna was there, and if he had to just leave Krishna and go, as Prabhuji was telling, we should actually have that kind of a mood actually when you go to the temple, and then when you're just returning back, oh my God, Krishna has given that we had such a beautiful time for Krishna serving, or Krishna, I'm just leaving for the day, or even just when we going and serving Krishna in the temple, and just like before leaving, again, just go to the deities and tell Krishna, it's been a beautiful day today. Thank you so much for giving this beautiful opportunity to serve you, and having some emotion, just having some talk with the deities, and that's I think that's the kind of a relationship that we should always have. Those emotions are very important, not like we just do things like as a as a checklist of do this and go back, but then developing those not being ritualistic, but having that mood of loving, because one thing which I always keep my mother used to always say is like, just talk to God. That's always a constant message when I used to talk about anything bhakti. She used to say, like, go and talk to Krishna. Just talk to Krishna like how you're talking. He's listening. He's listening to you. You just have to open your heart and talk. This is the best advice I would always get from my mother, and I feel like it is so right. Actually, we just not just see, but just talk and develop those emotions. And all these Krishna Leelas, Krishna is giving us this beautiful Leela so that we can develop this personal relationship. We can walk in the footprints of and try to learn how to love Krishna from the gopis. Learn to see how Akrura was touching the dust of Vrindavan before he goes to Vrindavan. So all these Leelas are help us to develop this relationship with Krishna, because Krishna says, Mamaivamsa Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Mamaivamsa Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That all of you, Jivatmas, you're part and parcel of me. and that he's the father, he's the seed-giving father for all of us. So which means that we should develop that kind of a relationship also with Krishna, because he is our eternal father. Amoga Prabhu, sorry, were you saying anything, Prabhuji?
Just crying for Krishna, Prabhuji. All this, the more developing. It is so beautiful. Just when we hear all these things from the melting hearts, wherever Krishna is there, there is always attachment, love, and affections.
Yes.
There, the gopis are crying there, and when Krishna also coming from Hastinapura to Dwaraka, there Hastinapura women they cry, and when he enters into Dwaraka, there those women they cry, and the devotees when come to Krishna they cry. It is just as you said, the relationship is very, very important, and the affection, how much close. When we know that relationship, Mama Yuvamshama Jivaloke Jivapute Sanatana, the relation, Krishna says, I am the mother, I am the father, I am everything.
Yes.
When we know that relation, then only we can develop the steps.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will become dormant, our love will be dormant. We don't know where we are. Our bodily concept of life will be lost in this material world, going to office, coming home, and just sleeping, eating, and
Yes.
just waste of all the time, human, very valuable time. We don't. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I think that's a wonderful point that you mentioned, that we have to first of all understand our relationship with Krishna, that that we are part and parcel of Krishna. He's our eternal father. Pitaha Masya Jagato Mata Data Pitamaha. Where Krishna Bhagavan himself is saying he's the father and mother. And again, to even help us more in the mood of devotion as a father, and because we are all, as human beings, we are all, grown up in the shelter of mother and father. So even Krishna is so kind that he's giving this motherly love in the form of Radharani as well. So we find Krishna as the same Achinta Veda Tattva, like in the form of Radharani and Krishna as well. So definitely when we are praying and we are offering, even like when Krishna is saying, offer fruits to me, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachiti. We not only offer to Krishna, but we offer to our mother also, like Radharani. Just offer to Mother Radharani and just request Radharani to just to accept these fruits and water and whatever we are offering, and give it to Krishna from the hands of Radharani. So that way we are developing, even when we are serving at home, in front of our deities also, we develop this beautiful relationship of mother and father, where we are telling, Radharani, please accept this, you're my mother, please offer this to Krishna from your hands, and things like that. So I think it's so important to develop this personal relation and just talk to the deities and talk to Krishna, because end of the day, Krishna is sitting in your heart. Krishna can appear from anywhere. He says, I'm sitting in everyone's heart. So what definitely Krishna's reciprocation will always be there. Prabhuji, I think I just wanted to ask if it's okay we can end here, because there's another beautiful one which is relating to the Yamuna River, but I want to start that as a second part of this chapter, maybe next week.
Yeah, let's do that. It's okay.
That's a wonderful Leela, and I was just so mesmerized seeing that, something which I was never expected, but a beautiful one which is so close to my heart. I will just going to share next week. During this, Mataji, Anil Prabhu, thank you so much for all. Thank you, everyone. Hemal Prabhuji, thank you. Nagaraj Prabhu.
Thank you.
For your time.
Very nice.
Amrit Prabhuji, with your permission, shall we end for today, Prabhuji?
Okay.
Can I request all the
Hare Krishna,
devotees
everyone.
unmute and the three loud Haribol
It was a
to Shyam?
wonderful session. Thank you very much, Shyam
Yeah,
Prabhu.
thank you,
Haribol.
Prabhuji. Thank you for your happy association. Hare Krishna,
Haribol.
everyone. Thank you.
Haribol.
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 Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
so much.
Vanchakalpatarubhyasa kripa sindhubhya vasha patitanam
Prabhupada Vaishnava Namo Nam Ananta Krishna Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
ki jai.
Jai Gaur Pramanande.
Hari Bol.
Haribol.
Thank you, Satyam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, Haribol.
Hare
Yeah.
Thank you.